Today we're going to be learning about how to use the Charette protocol in order to present our project idea to a partner and then also receive specific feedback from that partner in order to possibly change our ideas or make them a little bit better. The first part of the Charette protocol is the presentation. As the presenter, you will have 2 minutes to present your idea based using your driving question, your project idea, and your end product idea. The partner is not allowed to talk. They can only listen. All right. So my driving question is going to be, how can I convince teachers to have alternative seating in their classrooms? And then what I'm going to do with my project idea is I'm going to research different options for the different alternative seating. And I want to create a spreadsheet with options, costs, and where to buy so that if teachers are interested at the end of the product, that they can go back and research and figure out what's best for their class. And then I also want to interview students, not just from our school, but also around the country, and try to think about what their choices and their wants and desires for alternative seating, what they would think would be the best for them. I'm also going to find 2 to 3 teachers who utilize alternative seating, and I do want to do a global piece where it's not just in our state, but possibly find somebody in California or somebody in Japan to figure out what they use as alternative seating and how it works for them. And I also want to not only ask them the positives, but if they have noticed any negative effects of choosing that alternative seating in their class.
That's right. I can actually shut it. I can.
And then I'm also going to find research on the focus length of different students. So have they noticed a huge increase in the focus time that the students can focus a lot longer on a certain topic because they're allowed to freely move, and depending on the alternative seating, what they go with there. And then what I'm going to do with my end product is I plan to develop an infomercial, a very exciting, wow, let's all move to this utilizing iMovie. And because I want to show the different available options, and I want to include different student interviews and research in that infomercial. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I want to make it exciting, because I truly believe that alternative seating is a great option for the students, and I think it does help them when it comes to focusing on different tasks and also being able to pick their own choices where they sit. The next piece will be your framing question. As the presenter, you will have 1 minute to form and ask a framing question. In this question, you want to ask for specific feedback on one thing or one topic. For example, you might want to ask, what can I make better about the project idea? And that the listener is going to give you feedback on that one question. So for my framing question, what I've realized is I'd like to focus more on my end product. So I'd like to know, what do you think that I can make better about my end product? Specifically, would you choose to use a different application, or would you choose to, instead of doing an infomercial, would you think of something else that would be more catchy for other teachers to really try to convince them to utilize the alternative seating? The next piece will be feedback, and the partner is going to give you specific suggestions on how to make your project idea, your driving question, or your end product idea better. You're going to have 2 minutes for the partner to talk. The presenter does not talk at this time. They only listen and reflect. The person giving the feedback, please make sure it is specific and helpful.
For discussion between teachers and students. I also think that you did a really nice job organizing the project as far as the spreadsheet with the cost analysis and the interviewing students and teachers, and also considering the negative aspect that some teachers may have experienced whenever they may have implemented flexible seating into their classrooms. Specifically with your end product, I'm hesitant as far as the infomercial. I'm wondering if it's going to be perceived a little bit like a cheesy spiel. So I was wondering if maybe you could do something else, like a lot of times with technology, when the latest gadget or information comes out, they do a tech trend or something like that. Could you do, an education trend, or present it in that way where it has more of a theory behind it and all of the research that you've compiled? I'm thinking of the QVC channel, and you don't want it to be perceived that way, where it's just a gimmick to the teachers. So that would be my one piece of advice, is how can you make it more research-based, because you are doing all of this great research up in the top for your end product to look a little bit more professional and polished. I think iMovie would be a great way to utilize displaying that information to other people. Currently we're using photo booths, so maybe you could use photo booth or something like that. And then how are you going to present the information? Is it going to be just you standing there presenting all the information as a report, or is it going to be fun and engaging and showing the kids sitting in the classrooms using the flexible seating? So that might be definitely a thing to consider as well.
The last piece of the Charette protocol is the open discussion. This is when the presenter and listener have an open discussion/dialogue about the suggestions and feedback. You can both ask questions, and you're reflecting upon the entire protocol and figuring out what you can make better about your project. I wasn't sure if I loved the infomercial idea, and it's a good idea to use actual students like sitting in the classroom, and possibly even using like little clips of showing the difference in a classroom that has traditional seating and then the alternative seating. And I definitely need to think more about how to include the research into the presentation, because I don't want to just make it, gimmicky. I definitely want to make it where teachers see it and see the value in it because they're seeing the research that I put into it, and not just, ooh, buy the newest gadget.
Exactly.
So I definitely, appreciate that. And then I definitely like the fact that I think the research is definitely going to help propel the idea and make it sit in the minds of other teachers.
I think overall you did a really nice job with the project idea, and you didn't just focus on one thing. I think that having the cost analysis with the different items, as well as the negative and the positives, I think that's where you're going to have the teachers get more of a buy-in, because you're not just promoting all of the positives. You're doing that counter argument as well, because you're always going to have those rebuttals. The teacher's going to say, well, have you considered this? And you can always say, yes, I've considered that. Well, have you considered this? So I think that it's great that you're doing both the negative and the positive for the flexible seating.
Now, how do you think that I could maybe set up an experiment, say, that would test the focus length? Like, do you think that'd be a possibility?
I definitely think there is, and there are ways to kind of assess time on task. So I think that would be a great avenue to take. Maybe even having one of your teachers allow you to sit in and just kind of, watch the flow of the classroom as flexible seating is being used, and maybe, not have a student not know that they're being observed necessarily, and just kind of watching the clock and seeing if they're on task for that time.
All right. Thank you very much.